My name is Zachary Conan, providing authentic insight into film. If that's something that you might be interested in, then consider subscribing to the channel. Today we are talking about the 2004 Martin Scorsese film, The Aviator, which is an epic, a character study. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Cate Blanchett, Kate Beckinsale, Adam Scott, John C. Reilly, Willem Dafoe, Francis Conroy, Alec Baldwin. The cast is absurd. It is absurd. Everyone under the sun was featured in this film in some capacity. Every Martin Scorsese movie is secretly, and sometimes not so secretly, a film about God. The Aviator is a 3-hour-long series of spiritual tests, all warring over the salvation of Howard Hughes' soul, of his dignity, of his integrity, of his sanity. It's also a very interesting kind of compositional indictment of the film industry. The film industry, just like capitalism, rewards some very specific kinds of behaviors. Often they can be classified as psychopathic. Howard Hughes not only suffered from paranoid delusions, but obsessive-compulsive disorder to the point of self-harm, to the point of self-mutilation. And his paranoia only increased to a point where you had to call him schizophrenic as well. He lost his mind. But those are the people within the film industry who truly innovate, who truly push things forward. Those are the madmen, those are the wild men of cinema. Those are the people who we ask to pioneer our art forms, our medias, our entertainments, and ultimately our modes of travel. These are the people that we ask to mold our lives and represent us in some capacity, represent the human spirit or the human evolution in some capacity as well. And if you're asking people like Howard Hughes to do that, and there's a completely, utterly, and irreparably damaged part of the human condition that we champion. And Howard Hughes exemplifies all of these damaged qualities incredibly well, in a very loud way, in a very sad way, in a very fragmented way. This film is composed remarkably well. There are compositional acrobatics in The Aviator that Scorsese may have not displayed since Casino or Goodfellas, really. The Aviator is a stunning achievement compositionally. It moves so wonderfully, to a wonderful rhythm. If you put that film on mute, the compositional elements involved, the structure of a scene, the anatomy of each sequence will start to formulate its own rhythm for you, and you'll start to hear it in your head, even though there's no sound. It'll be wonderful once you strip it down to its base essentials. You'll realize that Scorsese's direction is lyrical, is physical, and is ultimately poetic as well. It's an extremely musical kind of film with an interesting amount of color symbolism involved. This is a fiery film. There are oranges in quite a few places, and there are blues being the calming color. Yet the blue is eventually compromised in favor of fire, in favor of passion, in favor of orange. It's a really interesting film, and yes, it's a film about spiritual tests. There are divine qualities in this film, only the spiritual tests don't seem to inform much of Howard Hughes' character. He makes it his mission to fail every single spiritual test that comes his way, and he doesn't even recognize that they are such. He believes the world is a very dirty place, that people are unclean, and that he is unsafe everywhere that he goes. There are spiritual tests in here, but he had already sacrificed his soul. He had already lost any chance he had at some sort of Christian salvation, some sort of metaphysical redemption. They were all already lost before the film even began. They were lost when he was a child and his mother was cleaning him, instilling all of these phobias and future mental illnesses into his head when he was just a child. This is also a love letter from Martin Scorsese to film. He focuses quite heavily for the entire first act is centered around Hughes' film Hell's Angels, and just how much went into that movie, how innovative that film was, and how wild and daring the production was as well. And it is a love letter to film, and Scorsese is a huge cinephile. This was a huge kind of dedication to the film industry, but he's a sophisticated master. Like I said, he shows us what the film industry rewards. He shows us what the tycoons of Hollywood were actually like. That the media that we all consume and we all love has very specific paranoid delusions built into it. It has obsessive compulsions built into the fabric of film itself. Film itself is damaged. Film itself is ill. Film itself should be institutionalized. And if those qualities, if those damaged aspects of the human character are in film itself as a medium, as I believe Scorsese is expressing through The Aviator, if those damaged qualities are there, are available, are present to intuit, then they also ingrain into the viewer those same specific kinds of behaviors, those same flaws, those same paranoid delusions. You walk away from a film and you don't know, but you have been made a bit more sickly as well. The Aviator is a remarkable kind of movie, and I would be completely out of line if I failed to mention how wonderful Cate Blanchett was at portraying the legendary Katharine Hepburn. I love that Katharine Hepburn won like 1 million Academy Awards, and then someone wins an Academy Award playing the woman who won 1 million Academy Awards. That woman was made for that golden statue. Cate Blanchett was remarkable here. Still my favorite Cate Blanchett performance. I should say a lot, because she's a pretty phenomenal actress. All things considered, she's remarkable, and she was a remarkable force in this film. That was the strongest sign that Howard Hughes could be saved. And he compromised her, he gave her up for the sake of his innovation, for the sake of his perpetual forward momentum, for the sake of motion. And motion is film, and the film is forsaking its own spiritual salvation. Film as a medium, Hollywood as this kind of empire, is forsaking spiritual salvation, forfeiting that spiritual test in order to transport you, as if by airplane or by as if it were an aviator, as if it were a madman, by transporting you into a new realm of understanding. Because the Aviator, it's all metaphorical for how films can transport you from one place to another place, and make you feel completely cared for and loved, while at the same time, though, Scorsese is exposing the fact that you are also being exposed to the creator's, to the architect's own inner demons while you're watching it, and that those flaws could affect you in some sort of way, and you can feel paranoid, you can feel obsessive after watching it. Scorsese certainly took obsession from film, and I also have taken obsession from film. Film lovers, I believe Truffaut said, are a very sick people. And one of the ultimate reasons why they are so sick, I believe Scorsese is positing, is because the brilliant men who made these films were incredibly ill mentally. And that when you're watching a film and you're a certain kind of film lover, you are picking up on everything. You are becoming sick, you are becoming deluded, you are becoming lost to salvation through intuition, through dynamic becoming. But yeah, this film is incredibly composed from beginning to end. It's remarkably experimental for being so mainstream. It is daring for Scorsese, being at the age that he was while making this film. This film does feel incredibly youthful, and at the same time it feels incredibly timeless. It feels like it definitely has that classic quality that it was emulating. The films they were talking about, the film actors and directors that they were referencing and showcasing in some sort of way, it definitely takes that 30s filmmaking spirit with it, and it really radiates with that kind of magnificent, epic energy. And as a character study, this is possibly Scorsese's best character study following Raging Bull. And it's a character study of film lovers, but people don't seem to realize that. It's a character study of the architects of film, and by proxy of that, you, as a viewer, watching it in that moment, making it a film that is completely of the dynamic becoming category of film. This is a film that is dynamic in every possible way. It is wonderfully made, and I think it's just a simply wonderful later Scorsese film. And the tests involved and the confrontational, the occasionally confrontational spirit of it really, I think, helps make you a better person while watching it, and helps you understand and consolidate where your love of film should rest, and maybe why you are so in love with film in the first place. It's almost impossible not to become obsessed with it, and not to become a little paranoid as well. But now we understand why, because Scorsese has shown us why we feel as sick as we do on account of our cinephilia, on account of our love for movies, for this medium, for these art forms. I want to thank you guys for watching. That was my take on The Aviator. Like the video, please, if you found any sort of value in it whatsoever. And in the comments below, what were your thoughts on The Aviator? What do you think of the film? Where does it rest in your ranking of Scorsese's filmography? I think it's an incredible movie. I think it's wonderful. I want to thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Zachary Conan, and have a wonderful day.